Matthew, thank you for spending some time with me today. Really, the conversation is, before we met and what you were used to getting in regards to your typical broker, what were you seeing in regards to service, dedication, and your overall impression of a traditional broker?
Well, I think, and I've got to be honest here, I mean, you kind of came onto the scene as I was coming onto the scene as a general manager. So I can't give you 20 years of poor experiences, but I certainly can say on watching other clubs and looking at the relationship, it did seem to be more business oriented. And it also seemed to be the relationship was really in case something went wrong. So if something went wrong, you spoke to your broker. And if not, once a year, you talk to your broker. And that was it. And I think that, I've obviously always been about service and in anything we do. And so I felt there was something missing there.
So, we've been working with each other for a number of years, and you've had an opportunity to work with us, kind of kick the tires and see what we're able to do. What's been the biggest difference from your traditional broker to really the experience with S&K?
Well, I think, at clubs, we wear many hats. Everybody does something different. And, your membership director is also your magazine person who puts together the magazine, and someone in accounting does HR. And I think that coming here, I needed much more than that. And even with our HR department and the size of this organization, really needed more of a partner. And I think our relationship started in which was nice because again, you can point to the success and see the evolution. I mean, we started in one arena and then we began to move to others. And so for you, I think as well, Toni, this was the largest club you'd ever worked with.
Correct.
And so I think we started in the health arena, and now we've moved into other areas that you work as our broker, because it was also feeling it out. Can Toni handle this? Does it work? But then putting you side by side with brokers and looking at the service, it became very obvious why we needed to make some changes in some other areas as well.
So, obviously risk is one of the things that we're passionate about, and in regards to prevention as well. Not only do we provide insurance coverage, that's kind of the easy part, but managing the risk is a partnership. And so in regards to that partnership, and a lot of times I say, I scare because I care. What is the, as a general manager and looking at the blind sides, how important it is to have somebody who's giving you guidance in regards to those areas that you may not be familiar with, but they may derail the career, the club, and finances?
Well, I think, look, you're not partnering me, you're partnering HR. You're partnering with me when that lawsuit comes along, and I'm going, why in the hell wasn't someone thinking of that? And I think risk is critical, but it's something that you forget about. You say, well, how can you say that, Matthew? And it's, well, 22 years as a GM and 8 years as an assistant manager, I can tell you get focused on other things. And, you're dealing with human beings, and the surprises, the things that human beings done are remarkable. And I think you need someone to be kind of looking over your shoulder. It's reminding you of those things, just giving you a little tap saying, hey, we should think about this, or when I was at the club, I noticed this. I think it's critical. I love having those reminders. It's like our phones now telling us that it's time to go to this meeting or that meeting or whatever. That's the relationship with your broker you should have.
So if you had an opportunity to talk to another general manager, what would be your experience in working with us, our team, and our risk management services?
Well, I think it's funny because I've done this for you before, and I always end up, talking to people about your service, about your staff, their responsiveness, which is unbelievable. But it's something that it's the same thing I give my members. It's the same thing I strive to deliver. And why can't I have that from my purveyors? And the people who have been successful with me think that way. But the bottom line is, I mean, really, what we should be doing is just basically slapping the financial statement on the table and saying, this is why. Because Toni saved me an awful lot of money. In some cases, she hasn't saved me money, but she's prevented me from losing more money than I already was. So that is it. I mean, obviously, I mean, your record with us has been outstanding. It also was when I was at another club. But I think, you know, the number one thing for me is the service. Is I know you're going to make mistakes. I know we're going to make mistakes. But are you there for me when I need you, when my employees need you, when my HR department needs you? And it's my biggest concern with your success is you will be unable to provide that responsiveness. But you know, in hindsight now, looking at your company and the sorts of people you've brought on board, you know, there's nothing like calling someone who used to be with Walt Disney and is helping us with our loss records, because you know that person has come from the platinum environment. It's the gold standard, and so it's not always just Toni. There's now this support network as well to help you grow.
The team. And, you know, a lot of times too, we are always asked, you know, just quote, quote, quote. If you could quote, then you have our business. How different is it from quoting and price versus protection and that peace of mind? Unfortunately,
99% of our decisions sometimes, in some areas, are driven by a budget. And I think in Southern California, all over California, when you look at this environment and risk, it's something that you shouldn't always think about price. I mean, you know how I hammer on you with the pricing and the quotes and things like that, but you know, you should be prepared. I'm lucky I have a CFO who reads things pretty well. So we come into the beginning of the year saying we're going to have a 10% increase. And when someone is in there wondering why we're increasing dues and saying, well, why is that going up so much? We have the evidence to show. It's not just us. In some cases, it is us. We have an open book here. It's like, yeah, we had 3 huge injuries. Could we have prevented them? 2? Absolutely not. There are repetitive motion injuries that have probably been coming along. Are they relevant? Are they bogus? I don't know, but we couldn't have prevented 1. Yeah, maybe. I mean, possibly. Right. But don't start thinking we need to go and get another broker for that. You know, cheap. You know, you get what you pay for, and that really is true in this business. You know, and again, one of the reasons we stay away from, you know, these group sessions. I mean, you look at how they've been devastated. Does it cost us a little bit more or appear so? Yes. But in the long run, I mean, I've been doing this too long to know that you're having your own broker, having someone that's dedicated to you, it's the only way to go.
Fantastic. So any recommendations to new GMs, seasoned GMs, or anybody that's looking at potentially us as their broker, risk manager, or just looking at their insurance program in general?
Well, 2 things. First of all, talk to some other GMs. Don't listen to me. You know, I tend to be out in front, and I'm obviously in your book as well. I don't, you know, as Meghan Merkel said, I'm not making any money from this. But I would also say have Toni come in and do a little audit for you. Not to point fingers at who else is there or whatever. Have her come in, have her team come in and say, this is what we can do for you. And just from looking from afar, have you thought about these things? And you'll be pleasantly surprised. You know, getting a free round of golf from your broker and getting some swag or whatever, that's really not enough. You know, I hate those things. I think the proof's in the pudding, you know, and I would say for you, Toni, I mean, you know, the resume speaks much louder than anything else.
Well, I wanted to thank you very much for your time today. What I love about our partnership is we're part of the leadership team. You're open to suggestions. You're not veering away from critical analysis of maybe some holes within the game. You actually want to know what those holes are, so that way you're not blindsided as well too. So I think the partnership works. It's been successful, and I will continue to make sure that if there is risk, we'll identify it. We'll try to engineer it out, put in best practices, and hopefully at the end of the day, it'll result in less injuries, less lawsuits, less turnover, and overall too, delivering better renewals as well too. So thank you very much.
Thank you.